Welcome to Dolly Talk. How is everybody doing today? All right, we have our wonderful friend Russell Ostrom. The rest of that trial is going to happen right now. He will be taking the stand pretty soon. We'll get some witnesses recalled and go from there. Hey, Brad. Scott, have you liked the stream yet? Yes, please. Christine, hope you're doing well. And Louise is here. How are you? Justin, Jim. Oops, almost timed you out. Sorry. Okay, so let's see here. How am I doing? Wouldn't be the first time I accidentally did that.
Does the state have any additional witnesses? State rest. All right.
State rest.
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I know we're taking a lot of breaks. We're going to take another quick break so I can discuss going forward how the rest of the day is going to go. So when you come back, we'll give you an update. Okay. So it'll probably be less than 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you. But I think a reasonable trier of fact, based on what's been presented, could find for the state in this case. And so I'm going to deny your Rule 20 motion. Okay. As for the rest of the day.
So, yeah, directed verdict was denied. I suppose in the most generous light, you could find that he could have stolen it. But still. Hi, David. How are you?
Mr. DeBrigida, have you been able to talk to your...
Okay, so the jury's coming back now.
Please be seated. The record will reflect the presence of the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, the state has rested. It is now time for the defense, if they should choose to do so, to present anything that they would want you to consider. Mr. DeBrigida, you had deferred your opening statement. Would you like to give an opening remark now?
If I may briefly, Your Honor.
Please.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to just kind of give you a quick synopsis. My client and I have decided that we would like to present information to you that we believe would be helpful in determining the facts of this case. That's your guys' job, and we believe we have helpful information we can present to you in that regard. Your Honor Her Honor, excuse me, has told you previously that the defense has no obligation to present anything, but again, we believe this information will be helpful to you. In terms of where we're at now and where we're going, I would like you to keep in mind some of the things you've heard so far in the testimony. I think we can all agree that this is not your classic car theft case and what we think of as a car theft.
Hey, Hella.
I worked in Maricopa County for a long time, which is literally one of the car theft capitals of the world.
Yeah.
Country, excuse me. And the classic situation you think of as a car theft is that you leave your car somewhere, parking lot somewhere, or even out in front of your house overnight. Come out the next day, no car, but a pile of broken glass on the ground. No idea what happened to it. Well, you have some idea what happened to it, but no idea who did it. This is not that situation.
Why are the attorneys on the state sitting so close to each other? That is a very good question. They're either perhaps lovers in the nighttime, or perhaps the detective here has bad BO. So those are just like little stinky things going up. So the guy in the middle just wants to get away from him.
think back also to, it was an interesting conversation we had with one of your potential jurors, the lady who had spent many years in law enforcement, and she talked about not charging somebody unless there's probable cause. Keep that in mind as you think about what has been presented and as what we present in terms of our witnesses. What we're going to show, ladies and gentlemen, is there was no intent on the part of my client to either permanently deprive Mr. Burdick of his vehicle, nor go outside of any agreement or exceed any agreement for limits on possession of that vehicle. There's just no evidence of that, and you'll hear that there's no evidence of that. What I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to put Stephen Ostrom back on the stand to talk about some of the things and fill in some of those gaps. And my client has decided that he would like to address you all. So if you'll let me get to it, that's what we'll do.
Thank you, Mr. DeBrigida. You may call your first witness.
If Mr. Stephen Ostrom could resume the
Look
stand.
at Dad. He's back there just ready to go. He got kicked out of the courtroom twice yesterday because he kept sneaking back in to watch the trial.
To address you all. So
Look at that. He's just
if
there
you'll
ready
let me
to
get to
go.
it, that's what we'll do.
Just,
Thank you, Mr. DeBrigida. You may call your first witness.
If Mr. Stephen Ostrom could resume the stand, please.
Sir, we're going to put you under oath again because it's a new day today, okay?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right. Thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Ostrom. So a couple of areas I want to go back into with you based on some of the things that we've heard over this morning. And I'll start with the more general. Can you remind us again, how long had Mr. Burdick's vehicle been on the property?
6 years.
Okay. This was a property that you owned,
Yes.
but your son lived there.
Yes.
6 years. They took this case to trial over a car that had been on his property for 6 years.
Okay. Eventually, there came a time when the property was being sold.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little more detail about why the property was being sold, how it came to be sold?
It was being foreclosed on,
Okay.
and I had no choice to sell it.
Not something you were happy about, obviously.
And I was quite upset.
Okay. Over the time leading up to that, you'd had quite a bit of contact with Mr. Burdick over the years, correct?
Yeah.
Can you give us a more detailed idea of that?
Well, like I said before, I mean, I treat him like my own son, you know. We got along fine. We built cars. We did a bunch of things, you know.
Would you often ask him about what his plans were for the truck?
Yes, well, many times I asked him, when are you going to finish it? And he basically told me that he wasn't going to finish it because he had better
Objection,
good
Judge.
money.
Hearsay.
Go ahead.
It's offered for the effect on the listener, Judge, of the statement.
You approach.
Good. Exception.
Court was sustaining that
Right.
objection and asking you questions. Your
Let me pick up from that point, Judge. So suffice it to say, you had asked Mr. Burdick about what his plans were with the vehicle, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the prosecution's body language is really defeated. They should really try to, pretend to show some confidence.
So, and in fact, you testified earlier that you had even gone in with him to look for parts or purchase parts or stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, do you still have any of the parts?
Yes, I do.
What parts do you have?
See, I got carburetor, intake manifold, chrome set of headers.
Wait, you've got some of the defendant's parts? You trying to get this guy arrested now?
Distributor, oil pan.
And how did those items come to be in your possession?
Well, when we built the truck in the first place in my driveway at my house, we built the rear end for it. Russell did all the welding. I supplied all the supplies to do all the welding, to actually build the narrow rear end for the truck. That's how those parts got to my house. And me, Russ, Dave, and a couple of his Russ's buddies, we all went down to Glendale swap meet in Glendale. It's a big huge swap meet, and we bought all parts from there. Stuff like car parts. So I brought all that stuff home. Basically, I still own them. Dave never come over to the house to claim them, or so now I own them.
Okay. So after, well,
Why is the prosecutor nodding his head there?
Oh, now I own.
Okay. So after, well, given all the years of history related to you and your son, Mr. Burdick, and this vehicle and other vehicles, presumably,
Yeah.
when the detective was asking you about,
I love seeing desperate prosecutors because it's not every day you see it, and just they're not used to losing or losing by so much. And it's just the desperation is so funny to me.
the vehicle and you were talking to him about it, did he ever ask you about any of the history involved here?
No.
As far as you know, was the detective aware of how long this car had been there?
Objection, that calls for speculation.
Well, based on any of the, I'll rephrase, Judge.
Okay.
Based on any of the conversations you had with the detective, do you ever remember it being mentioned by you or him about the history of how this vehicle how long it had been there?
No.
Okay. When you talked to the officer about where you thought your son was, oh, actually, let me back up.
I know we missed that.
Okay, but let me back up. And I want you to focus on the time leading up to the property being sold. Okay. Was it your understanding that the new owners of the property wanted everything out of there by a certain date?
Yes.
Really? You mean to tell me the property owners wanted this stuff out of there? I am shocked, flabbergasted. Oh.
And was that one of the reasons you reached out to Mr. Burdick in the days or weeks leading up to that about coming to get the vehicle?
Yes.
How many times did you do that?
3 times.
Okay.
Whole
And,
day to go get his truck.
and what did he tell you?
All right, well, the first one he said he's going to go up there after work and get a tow chain and tow it out of there. Wait, back up. The first time he says he'll make arrangements. He was already over there prior to that, and he couldn't get the vehicle out because there's a motorhome blocking the road.
Okay.
Which is a vehicle that you can drive in and out.
Were there other, in addition to Mr. Burdick and any of yours or Russell's items, were there other people's property there as well?
Yes.
So plenty of other people were coming and going from that property?
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, so Tony went to go get the truck.
Well,
Sold the house.
No.
You need to get the truck moved out of there. That was the first thing. The second, when I was getting my vehicle
No
worked out,
question.
where they all worked at one time. Okay, then I went back, the car wasn't done. I went back the next day, I applied to Dave to go get your truck. That's when he told me after work, he's gonna go over there with a tow chain and get it out of there. He said, last time I was over there several weeks ago, I couldn't get my truck out. And I didn't want to confront Russell and have a situation. I said, well, there won't be no situation. You know that I own the house, Dave. You have to move your truck. The third day, I run into, because my car was still not getting done. He tells me that he sent a wrecker over there
Okay.
to get it. And I said, Dave, Russell already took in his behalf to put wheels and tires and stuff on and moved it out front to the library.
And was that done because the new owner had demanded that everything be removed?
Everything on the property, inside the house and outside, all got to go.
So then why did Russell take it and move it to somewhere else?
They had no choice. Dave never picked it up.
Well,
If he sent a wrecker over there, I never saw no wrecker picking Dave's truck up at all.
so if
In the library,
let me stop you for a second. Well,
I had to live.
hold on a second.
Sir, there's no questions.
Not that I don't enjoy our conversations, but I have to ask a question. Where I'm going with this is time became of the essence. We have a situation where this stuff has been there for years, and in Mr. Burdick's vehicle's case, 6 years.
Yes.
Right? But it came to be crunch time, and things had to be removed from there. And you had conversation with the new owners, and he was adamant that stuff needed to be removed from there or else, right?
Right.
Or else what?
The new owners would have had it all disposed of. And they didn't want to go in that situation because if it had to do with in the vehicles, they would have to go through, have registration. They didn't want to have a theft thing on taking stuff that doesn't belong to them.
Okay.
So they basically put it on us and me and my wife and everybody else to have everything removed. And whatever else is left there, they're just going to dispose of it at the county dump.
Okay. And Mr. Burdick's vehicle could have gotten lost in the shuffle at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So Russell removed a number of items from the property and brought them into this area of the woods where the detective eventually spoke with him, right?
Yes,
And he had quite a few items, not just Mr. Burdick's vehicle.
yes.
In the entire time that Mr. Burdick's vehicle was on your property or in yours or Russell's possession, was there ever an attempt to keep him from his property?
No. I mean, Dave could have went over there anytime in 6 years to get his truck,
Okay.
but simply fact he had no place to put it.
But you would agree with me that ultimately that there came a crunch time where things had to be removed.
Right.
Okay. And he tried to do that, but by then Russell had to remove it or else. Nothing further.
Any cross-examination?
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead, please.
Mr. Ostrom, let's be clear about the timeline of events. When you spoke with Detective Dunstan, you were aware that Russell had the truck, correct?
Yeah.
And you were aware that Russell didn't have permission to have the truck, right?
Also had permission.
Okay. So your testimony now is that Russell had permission to have the truck?
Russell knew the truck was in his backyard. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking you, when you talked to Detective Dunstan, you knew that the defendant, Russell, your son, did not have permission to have that truck, right?
He had it for 6 years.
Russell had permission to have the truck.
Okay, so your testimony is when you talked to Detective Dunstan, Russell had permission to have the truck.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when you told Detective Dunstan that your son had a truck that didn't belong to him, was that a lie or what?
No, a lot of vehicles Russell didn't own there.
Okay,
And Dave's had to be one of them.
okay, and so you would agree Russell didn't own the truck?
No, you don't. No.
Okay, so he didn't have permission to have it, right?
No.
Objection.
What's the basis for the objection?
Characterization.
Retarded.
Misstates the evidence.
Overruled.
Which is it?
God, I hate prosecutors.
Let me ask you a different question.
Yeah, I don't.
You testified that you have parts that belong to Mr. Burdick.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
That's-
And they belong, to be clear, they belong to Mr. Burdick.
Yes.
Okay. And you have them, right?
Yes.
And you testified that he never came to claim them, right?
Right.
And so then you testified, so now I have them.
Yes.
Okay. And so in your opinion, when you have stuff that belongs to other people, at a certain point, they just belong to you. Is that your opinion?
It's been 8 years.
Okay.
He never contacted me about claiming the parts
Okay.
at all.
And so to be clear, though, you told Detective Dunstan, Russell has a truck that doesn't belong to him. You told him that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you testified earlier, I believe Mr. DeBridge had asked you a question about whether or not you knew where Russell was. Do you remember that question?
Assuming Brock here is correct, Arizona abandoned property statute. So, like, found in the Uniform Unclaimed Property Act defines property that is presumed abandoned and requires it to be reported to the Arizona Department of Revenue Service for safekeeping. For most intangible property, abandonment is presumed after 3 years of inactivity. In the case of a landlord-tenant situation, a dwelling unit is considered abandoned after a tenant has been gone for at least 5 days. I guess you have to mainly turn it over to the Department of Revenue for, I'm guessing, cars and stuff. But if you're just talking about like abandoned property, then it would be like 3 years. So there we go.
No.
Just today? Okay. I think you testified. I know where he was. He was at home. Do you remember saying that today?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't it true that you told Detective Dunstan on November 16th you didn't know where Russell was? He was out in the woods somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't know where he went.
Okay. So you knew where he went or you didn't know where he
I
went?
didn't know where he went.
Okay. So when you said, I know where he was at, that was a misstatement?
No, the misstatement is I was assuming that he was at the house. But Russell wasn't at the house. And where he moved to with all the cars, I still don't know where he went.
Okay, so to be clear, at that time, you didn't know where he went and you didn't know what was going on with the car.
Right.
Okay. Now, this house that was being foreclosed on, that was your house?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you own it or?
I owned it.
What's that?
I owned it.
Okay, so like your name was on the title?
Yes,
Was there anybody else's name on the title?
my wife.
Okay, was Russell's name on the title?
Yes.
Oh, so Russell's name was also on the title?
Three.
All three of them, okay, great. And so, what was the arrangement? Russell was staying there? Was he paying mortgage or how was that going?
Russell's paying for his house,
Okay,
and he couldn't pay for it.
okay, and so it got foreclosed on?
Right. So
Okay.
I was paying for it, which if I'm buying,
And you,
I don't need to buy two houses.
no, I understand that, sir. Now you testified, I'm sorry, sir, I asked the questions.
I'm sorry.
You testified that, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is this has to be a back and forth. You testified that Russell moved the truck, or he put tires on it, right? You testified to that?
Yes,
Okay, and he moved it over to the library?
yes.
Okay,
The Dave can get it.
so Dave could get it. Do you have any, well, at that point, Russell knew where Dave worked, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he could have moved it to Coyote Auto, right? Why not?
It wasn't towable. You would have to have it towed by a tow chain.
Okay,
You have to understand Russell's in the process, not moving all these vehicles all over, bringing it back to Coyote.
Yeah.
It originally started out to Coyote. They didn't want it at Coyote Auto no more. So
right, that
that's-
was several years ago, right?
No, 6 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how they brought it from Coyote to Russell's backyard.
Correct, right. Now, but when he had to move, it was crunch time, as Mr. DeBridge said, and he had to move all these vehicles. Why did Russell not have the Mazda truck towed over to Coyote Auto? Wouldn't that be Mr. Burdick's problem at that point?
Speculation.
I have no,
Hold on, sir.
Oh, hold on. So I'm going to overrule the objection. If he knows, he can answer, but if he doesn't know, then that's an appropriate answer as well.
I don't know how to answer that.
Okay,
That's why I told Dave 3 times ahead of time.
So this line of questioning is idiotic. I don't know exactly what happened, but the defendant is not allowed back to Coyote Auto. So I'm guessing he was trespassed or something like that. So for the prosecutor to try to impeach him now, or try to say, well, why didn't you just take the car back there? Is kind of inappropriate.
3 days ahead of time to go get it.
okay.
And he never did.
Would you agree if Mr. Ostrom, if Russell had towed the truck over to Coyote Auto and left it there, that would be David Burdick's problem at that point? Wouldn't you agree?
No.
No, so that would still continue to be Russell's problem.
Yeah.
You testified earlier the owners didn't want theft charges.
If anything was left vehicle-wise or anything of value that Russell didn't have possession of, they were going to basically dispose of.
And they didn't want to be seen as stealing.
No, they wanted the whole property cleaned off, everything.
Okay. Are you familiar with the abandoned title process in Arizona?
Objection relevant.
I have no idea.
Hold on. Sir, when there's an objection, just wait for your answer until the court can rule. That's okay. So overrule. You can answer if you know. Go ahead.
I have no idea.
Okay. So if something is left, you have no idea the process to get it moved. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, great. But you testified they didn't want theft charges. Well, why?
Objection.
Then to the owners to go through a whole.
Hang on. There's been an objection. I'm sorry.
I think you need to, so I'm going to sustain it, but you can rephrase your.
Okay. Why did you tell us that the owners didn't want theft charges?
They didn't want to go through the house getting all that, find out who owns these cars. That was left there. They didn't want the responsibility to go in there and remove stuff.
Okay. And so your statement is, so they put it on you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they put on you the possibility of theft charges.
Basically, if you want to put it that way.
Okay. And they put on Russell the possibility of theft charges. Correct?
Yeah.
And Russell decided to move the truck out into the woods, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, you had no idea where it was.
Is that, yeah.
And it's not your problem.
No,
Do you want the defendant to get in any trouble?
my son.
Yeah.
No.
Of course not, right? He's your son.
Yeah. Russell didn't steal the truck. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I love this guy. He is awesome.
right? He's your son.
Yeah. Russell didn't steal the tree. I'm sorry.
Russell didn't steal. Oh, sorry.
I want to go back to this because you said this multiple times. You said Russell had no choice, right?
Yes, he had absolutely no choice at all.
So Russell couldn't have gotten an abandoned title.
Objection, speculation and relevance.
Sustained, I think he testified he doesn't know the process, so he wouldn't know.
Could Russell have towed it to Coyote Auto?
No.
Could Russell have told the tow company, this is abandoned, you take it?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled. Can answer.
No.
Could Russell have called the police about the truck and said, hey, this belongs to someone else and I don't know what to do with it?
No.
No further questions, Judge.
I might add something.
No, no.
No.
Brief redirect.
What would you like to add,
Yes,
sir?
Judge. No
Yes.
further questions.
I thought you were, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, no. Yeah, no further questions.
Mr. Ostrom, my colleague asked you about whether you want Russell to get in trouble. You recall that just now?
Yeah.
And he said, because he's your son, right?
Yeah, he's my
And you
son.
said, yeah. Is it also because you believe he didn't do anything wrong here?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Does the jury have any questions for this witness? All right, sir, you can step down. You can step down. Thank you.
Jury isn't very here.
There's one question,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. We have a question.
One question. I'm really kind of surprised how little the jury is asking questions. Kind of tells me they've made up their mind one way or the other, or they don't care.
Counsel want to meet me?
Ooh, a menage a trois.
Okay. Mr. Ostrom, if you know, where is the vehicle located now?
Dump.
Honestly, I don't know
Okay.
where it's at.
Do you know who has possession of the vehicle now?
I suppose Dave.
And then what was the date that everything needed to be off the property?
Good question.
Without going, my wife, she's not here.
My wife
I
might
don't know
tell.
the date. It's been what, 9 years now?
Okay.
About 8 years.
All right. Well, wait, we're talking about 2023, right?
Yeah.
That's not 8 years ago. I think what the jury is wanting to know is,
They want to know when he got the car off the property and took it back to his place, how far or how many days before all this crap had to be off the property. They want to know if he had like if it was a legit reason that he got it off the property or not.
there's been reference to crunch time today. Do you know what the date was? Okay, thank you. Any follow-up with respect to the questions?
No.
Can you tell us if it was a matter of days or weeks? Do you recall that?
Days and weeks for what?
Sorry. You were selling the house and stuff had to be moved off the property. You testified you can't recall what the drop dead deadline was. Do you recall if it was a matter of days or a matter of weeks? Do you know, can you give an approximate length of time?
Yeah, Irish.
I would say, 10 days,
Okay.
2 weeks.
No other questions.
Any further?
I mean, 2 weeks, 10 days. Okay. So less than 2 weeks to get all this crap out of the yard. That to me seems like a reasonable, seems like you'd be under a deadline you'd be rushing every single day trying to get this stuff out of there. You'd be working hard. Would it have been before closing? Unless, I mean, I think they would have had to have cleared it for closing. Oh, you mean it wouldn't have closed if all that crap was still there? Yeah. Even at 4 cars a day, I mean, how many cars are here? Like 1, 2, how many cars is that? I mean, I don't know what year this was, but it's like 1. Oh, now my page markers aren't working, but 4, 8, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 4, 25, 26. There's like 28 there. So, yeah, this. How old is that map? Scott posted it in Discord. I don't know if Scott's still here. I'm curious. It kind of reminds me of a house near me down the street. And this guy, oh, thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. No rush. This guy, like, was a true hoarder's house. Like, it was creepy. And his yard was so full of crap. And being a true Mesa specimen, he bought a motorhome and parked it outside his house and proceeded to fill up his entire motorhome with more crap. And then about 2 months after, or no, it was about 6 months after he got it, because the registration on the motorhome had expired for like 4 or 5 months. A drunk driver rammed into the back of it and damaged it more. And then he ended up towing it to a neighbor's house down the street and left it there. I don't know what happened to it. Eventually they cleaned up the lot and sold the place. But I mean, this kind of stuff is just like, there's always like one of these in the neighborhood. And I'm just imagining how bad this looked.
Question? Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there's some
Abby?
other work we need to do, and we're hoping to do that work now so that when we come back this afternoon, we're not taking as many breaks and it's going to flow a lot faster. So I am actually going to dismiss you for lunch now. We'll come back at 1 o'clock. And I know I was hoping we'd get a little bit farther and we'd have a shorter lunch. But again, like I said, we're going to try and get all that work done now so that we can just flow into the afternoon, not have to break to do instructions and other things that we have to work on. So I'm going to release you until 1 o'clock. Just remember the admonition for yesterday. Keep an open mind. We haven't heard all the evidence yet. And I will see everyone back at 1 o'clock. Okay? So if you want to come back actually a few minutes early, if everyone can be assembled by 1 o'clock, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, 2022. Okay.
She's going to do. We're going to come back.
Straight and step down.
Gonna rest.
I think,
I don't think so.
no,
But I mean, I think he can hang out.
yeah,
Let's address it on the record.
Yeah, one second.
have a seat. From his choice.
We're done.
Steve Ostrom, does any party plan on recalling him? May he leave? May he remain in the courtroom? His choice.
We're done.
Okay, so sir, you're welcome to hang out, watch the rest of the trial. You're also welcome to go home, whatever you want to do. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay in the court.
All right, and then let's take a brief recess so Mr. DeBridget can do your hearing, and then come back and let's work on our final instructions so we can get those all done. Okay, thank you. Standard? No? Okay. 4A, burden of proof.
Okay, I think we're going to get to the closing.
I don't know if the facts here, and again, I don't know what Mr. Ocean's
not-
going to say when he testifies, but
He's going to testify.
ladies and gentlemen, the record will reflect the presence of the jury. Mr. DeBrigida, would you like to call your next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls Russell Ostrom.
Sir?
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Have a seat, sir. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ostrom, how old are you?
48.
And where do you currently live? And how long have you lived in Payson?
Almost 20 years.
Okay.
No.
And do you have family here?
Yes.
Who's your family that lives here?
My mom, dad, and my little brother.
Okay. Can you
My
try to
pa-
can everybody hear him? Yeah, lean a little closer to the microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Who is, I believe the last question I asked was, who is your family here in Payson?
Yes, they live here.
And-
My little brother and my mom and dad live here.
Okay. And where are you living now?
Right now, I'm living at Cracker Jack Road.
Where, sir?
Cracker Jack Road,
Cracker Jack. Okay. And who do you live there with?
just by myself.
Okay. Back in 2023, where were you living?
I was living on 304 East McLean Road,
And how long had you lived at that location?
6 years.
Okay. And that's a property that you bought with your parents?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever allow anybody else to live there with you?
I had my girlfriend at that time and a couple other people live with me.
Okay. Did Mr. Burdick ever live with you?
Not there, no.
At a different location he
Yes.
lived with you? What was the location he lived
That
with?
was on McLean Road.
And was that before or after that property?
That was after before the property.
Before?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in like 2019.
2019?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you and Mr. Burdick become friends?
Through other friends, we kind of met together with other friends.
Okay. And at some point you worked together as well, correct? What kind of work were you doing?
Okay.
And for who?
Coyote Auto
Where are they located?
on 304 East Main on Main Street.
Okay.
No, it's 310, sorry, 310 Main Street.
And when you were friends, or if you still are friends, what kind of things did you like to do together?
We did all kinds of things together. We hung out, we went to bonfires, we went to race car races, we went to swap meets. We built race cars together. He helped me build my race Jeep I have now.
My
We watched
race
his kids grow
Jeep?
together. I watched his kid be born. We watched my kid be born.
Oh, sir. Wait, you watched his kid be born? Okay.
Are you familiar with the truck or this, I forget the make of it, the Mazda truck?
Yes.
What, do you know when he purchased that, or he have it before you knew him?
No, we were friends together when he purchased that. I don't remember where he got it from, but the process was building my race Jeep. He bought this truck, so he wanted to build another hot rod for like mine.
It's for Cato.
Okay. And do you know when the subject first came up of him storing the truck at your property?
As a date,
Right. When did that first come up?
I can't say the exact date, but it was. I lived in my property like 6 years, so it was about 2 years, and probably when I was at the beginning of when I owned the house.
Right. We're talking about the 304.
East Bonita.
Okay. And tell me about that, what you recall about that discussion, and did he ask you if he could bring it there? Did you
Yeah.
suggest that he bring it there?
Well, he asked me if he could bring it because he had no place to put it when he wanted to quit running. After me and my dad and him built it, he broke it, and then he had no place to put it. So it was sitting at Coyote for a while. So they brought it to my house because Coyote had no place to put it no more.
Okay. And you didn't have any problem with him bringing it there? Okay. Were there other, either vehicles or other items on the property?
Oh, yes.
About how many?
33.
Okay, why does that number stick out in your head so readily?
Between friends and families and my own personal rides, I had 33 cars in my driveway.
Okay.
Okay. I counted 32, so I was pretty close. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Queen C is race Jeep. So, yeah, that's his race Jeep. That's all right. You know what? I'm not going to make that's pretty badass. That's pretty cool. So, I'm not going to make fun of that. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
At some point, that property had to be sold, correct? Tell us about that time and what was going on.
Well, I lost my, I had closed my business down. I got sick. I got COVID real bad.
COVID.
So I couldn't pay the mortgage on the house, so I had to get rid of the house.
Okay, and your parents were involved with that with you? Okay. So at some point, the house actually gets foreclosed on?
Or
The
yes,
property,
I
I
was
should
trying to,
say.
yes.
Okay,
Oh, we sold it, we won't go under foreclosure.
okay. And as part of that, you had to get all of those items you just described off the property,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes,
And how was that done?
very stressfully. A lot of the cars that I own, I scrapped, or I took up to Heber and dropped off at my girlfriend's brother's property up in Heber. We took the cars up, some other cars up there. A lot of my personal belongings went to storage.
Okay. And at some point when you had to leave the property, you were actually living at you had a campsite in the woods, correct?
Well, I was processing moving up to Heber, so that was like the stopping point for us for moving cars and the rest of my house up to Heber.
What is that? What is that location in terms of like, how far is it from here, so to speak?
It's 2 miles outside, just outside town.
Okay. And you weren't the only person camping there,
No.
right? Were there other people camping in the area?
Yes.
Were there,
My girlfriend's brother, that he was there in his motorhome.
is that a set campsite or it's just an area where people camp?
It's just open area,
Okay. Is it pretty easily accessible?
very easy, accessible.
Okay. How many vehicles or items did you bring from the property that you had to get out of there?
There's 5 vehicles over there on my own.
5 of yours?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about any other people's vehicles?
My girlfriend's brother had 3 of his there, and I had David Burke's truck there.
Okay. And you don't deny that that's David's truck?
No,
Okay. So why did you bring those items to that location?
it's we had a timeline in it, and I was past the timeline, so I had him. Figured I would have put him.
Okay.
So I brought him to the campsite for I keep an eye on him for that I wouldn't nothing happen.
Had you been in touch with your father during this time?
Yes,
Okay. And your father knew that you had brought these vehicles with you to the campsite, or that he had, maybe not to the campsite, because we've heard your father mention about Heber.
so I don't know
So,
exactly where I was at, but he knew I was taking vehicles somewhere.
okay, but he knew you had them.
Yes,
Okay. Did you ever try to hide them or keep them from anybody?
no.
When is the last time, from that time when you were at the campsite, what is the time before that you had any conversation with Mr. Burdick?
Probably 3 years before that.
Okay. Why such a gap in time from the 3
I was
years?
busy I had my own shop going, and I had my own life going on, and I quit Coyote.
You had quit from Coyote?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just weren't as close anymore?
Yeah, well, he was doing his thing, I was doing mine.
Okay. You didn't have any problems with him,
No.
though? Okay. Was there any reason that you would want to keep that truck
No.
from David or anybody else?
No. I had my own projects to do.
Had you been able to make contact with your dad before the police contacted you, would you have been able to tell either your dad or David that they could come there to get it?
No, yes,
And it was only 2 miles away?
yeah. I mean, if I had somebody else to help me out and move it, I could take it to Dave,
Okay.
or wherever he was going to name. But like I say, I can't go to Coyote because I already put there.
Was there any property of yours still in the truck when the officer found you at the
Yeah.
campsite? What items were there?
There's a set of wheels in the back of it. There was my motorcycle at the back of it, and there were my race Jeep parts, my extra parts for my race Jeep.
Okay. Have you recently been able to see those?
Well, except for earlier today, I saw the truck and the wheels in the back of it, but the rest of the stuff's gone.
Where was it?
It's on McLean and on Main Street.
Okay.
Behind the old gas station.
Okay. You don't know whose property that is,
No.
though? Okay. Mr. Ostrom, when the detective first contacted you, you used the phrase, and we could hear it in the recording somewhat. You said that the vehicles that were there were yours.
Yes.
Okay. You didn't necessarily mean that you owned all of them, did you?
No.
Okay. And then the officer started talking to you about an abandoned title. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you ever consider any of these abandoned?
At one point, I don't know what vehicles he was talking about, but like I say, I had 3 vehicles, not mine,
Okay.
but I had possession of them.
Okay. As it relates to Mr. Burdick's truck, you meant it was abandoned in the sense that it'd been 3 years since he talked to you about it and
Yeah.
he hadn't picked it up.
Yeah.
But you knew he still owned it?
Yes.
Okay. And again, that's when the officer asked you about why you didn't get a salvage or, excuse me, a abandoned title or have it declared abandoned. I'm not sure what the phrase would be. That's something that you never really considered,
No.
correct? Okay. And finally, sir, did you have any desire to keep this vehicle from Mr. Burdick?
No.
Nothing further.
You cross.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ostrom. You and I haven't really spoken too much before, have we? Is that a no?
No.
Sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but we got to have your answer on the record.
I don't know if David's still here, but the prosecutor coming off right away saying, well, we haven't had a chance to talk before. That to me is pretty close to violating his Fifth Amendment rights to remain silent. But curious if David's here, if he knows.
There, so, are you working currently?
No, not right. I don't know.
Okay. You're a mechanic by trade, is that fair?
Yeah.
And you said that you live off of Cracker Jack Road.
That's where I was at that point.
Where are you living now?
Right now I'm then I was down Vanadale Road, and now I'm at Cracker Jack Road. I just got there.
Okay.
I was up in Heber.
Is that a residence there?
No, I'm staying in my motorhome.
Now, as far as your relationship with Mr. Burdick, would you agree that at one point you were friends?
Yes.
And I think you've been here for the whole trial, obviously.
Yes.
And so you heard Mr. Burdick's testimony?
Yes.
And I believe you testified that, is it fair to say you kind of grew apart?
In a way, not really grew apart. You know, we kind of separated because we didn't work together at, Coyote anymore. And he was part of the biker club and I was part of, doing my own shop.
So like sometimes when you're an adult, you have close friends that become not so close because life gets in the way, right?
Yeah, I get a little complicated.
So you never considered that Mr. Burdick wasn't your friend anymore. That wasn't true, right?
Yeah, he's still my friend.
You just hung out less than you did at one point.
Oh, yes.
And you testified that he had purchased the Mazda.
Yes.
And do you recall when he purchased it?
I can tell you no.
Right. At some point prior to 2019, is that fair to say?
It could possibly, yeah.
Okay. You and your dad and Mr. Burdick had done work on it for a number of years. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So it had been a long time.
Yeah.
And I believe there's been testimony that you and your dad and Mr. Burdick and potentially some other folks went down to like a swap meet and bought parts for it.
Yes. I'm about part for all our rights.
Okay, gotcha. And so you've done a fair amount of work on this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you testified that there were like 33 cars and trucks on this property. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And I think we've heard a little bit of testimony about what these were, but can you tell us what kind of cars and trucks were on the property?
I had a boat. I had 3 race cars. I had David's Burdick. I had customers' cars were when I closed my shop up there. I had it finished. Man, I can give you all kind of details.
Sure.
Which cars.
As much as you can remember.
There was 4 Dodge trucks. There was 6 Jeeps.
Why?
There was David's truck. There was another Chevy. There's the other trucks. I can't tell you what kind. There's quite a few.
Was there a motorhome?
There was actually 3 motorhomes. Camper trailer.
Were all of these vehicles, let's see, how do I ask this in a way that's not confusing? How many of these vehicles worked?
Well, define
Some,
probably
most, about half? Can I ask you a little bit about the boat? Was it up like on a trailer or?
No.
Okay, so,
One boat was and one boat wasn't.
so there was actually more than one boat?
Yeah.
And
The
so-
one little boat was not on the trailer. It's only like it's a 12-foot flat bottom boat.
Gotcha. And so, as for the boat that was on the trailer, was that like hooked up to one of the vehicles? Or?
No.
How large is this property?
Half acre.
it's pretty big.
Do you recall when the sale process started?
Okay.
As far as the house, the 304 East Benito Street.
Okay.
Do you recall when the sale began?
Yeah.
Do you know, can you give us a date or an approximate time frame?
It was probably started in July of 21, 22.
July of 2022. So that property was for sale until November of 2023?
Well, I was trying to save it. We went back and forth. I was trying to sell it, and I was trying to keep it at the same time. So then when the mortgage told me, there's no way. So that's when my dad went and sold it on 2023.
At what point was the sale final?
I can't do the exact date. I can't do.
Okay. I guess what I'm asking is, so
It was in 2023.
I guess what I'm trying to get at, and I'm not trying to twist you out here. At some point, someone has agreed to buy it, correct?
Yeah.
And you get, there's been testimony that there's this ultimatum that you got to get everything off the property.
Yeah, I had a deadline here.
At what point did that period start, you know?
I would say, probably August.
And do you recall at what point, was there like a final deadline?
Yeah, there was, when it comes down to the last minute, I had like maybe a week. I had to get everything gone.
Okay.
I was moving in process of the whole month. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, it was really getting tight. I had a lot of stuff to move.
So,
Just when you're by yourself.
do you have any reason to doubt that Mr. Burdick called police on November 15th, 2020?
No.
Approximately how long, if you can tell us, because maybe you can, approximately how long was November 15th the deadline, do you think, or was it a few days after? Can you estimate? And so if you can't, just tell us.
I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Can you tell us mid-November, late November? Can you give us that detail?
It's a bit right in the middle.
Right in the middle? So fair to say, if the sale becomes final in August and your deadline is in mid-November, you have about maybe a month and a half to move these 33 vehicles?
And plus all the rest of the stuff was inside out. I had a 4-bedroom house, 2.5-car garage, plus I had all my stuff from my business prior.
Okay, cool. Now, you testified earlier that it was 3 years, it had been about 3 years. Sorry, that was a poor question. Let me start over and rephrase that. When all of this happened, I think you testified that it had been about 3 years since you had spoken to Mr. Burdick.
Give shit, yeah.
Now, do you recall telling Officer Dunstan that you'd already talked to Mr. Burdick about his truck?
Before, a long time ago before that, Bird came to me and wanted me to truck, and I said, there's no way I can give it to you because I had all kinds of stuff in my backyard. It was locked in.
You watched the video with us, right?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you were upset with Detective Dunstan because nobody had informed you that the car was stolen?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on.
Okay.
All of a sudden they were trying to tell me I stole the truck. I'm like, how can I steal it?
And so, do you recall Detective Dunstan making a comment to you to the effect of, well, you should have talked to Mr. Burdick?
No.
You don't recall that?
No, I didn't have time to talk to Bird. That's why I was getting my dad involved.
No, what I'm asking you is, do you recall Detective Dunstan saying that to you?
No.
And do you recall responding to Detective Dunstan? I did.
Yeah, through my dad.
Okay. And that was like 3 years prior, right?
No.
When did you never talked to Mr. Burdick face to face, did you?
Not before the 3 years, after the 3 years.
And so when you told Detective Dunstan that you had talked to Mr. Burdick, it's not a lie, but that's not quite correct, is it?
Well, I didn't physically talk to him, but my dad did talk to him.
And you have no idea if your dad delivered a message or not at all.
Well, I know he did.
Now, did Mr. Burdick know where you were living at the time?
At the house?
No, I'm sorry, at the Monument Valley Trailhead.
No.
Okay. And
So I was busy moving from my house up to Heber.
right, and you hadn't talked to Mr. Burdick at that point.
No, I have not.
At that point, did you have a phone?
Yes.
Now, I believe you told Detective Dunstan that day that your girlfriend had a phone.
Yes.
Okay. Does Mr. Burdick know your girlfriend?
Yes.
And at least in November of 2023, you knew where Mr. Burdick lived, or sorry, not lived, worked,
Yes, we worked together.
and that was at Coyote.
Yes.
Now, at what point did the Mazda truck get moved from your property to the library?
That was 3 days prior of the last day.
Okay. So do you recall what day that was?
I would say probably a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
Monday or Tuesday. I really can't say exact day.
How did you get the vehicle, or how was the vehicle transported from your property to the library?
We pushed it.
Say again?
I pushed it.
You pushed it?
Yeah, me and my girls did.
Your
And
girls.
2 kids.
Great, you're incriminating your kids now.
Actually, my youngest drove it. Why I pushed it around the block, around the other side.
I guess, let me clarify, when you say drove it, you mean
Oh, she
physically
stole
controlled
it?
the steering wheel?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she's only she's 12 now, but she was 7 then.
I take it you don't mean that she turned it on and physically.
No, it had no running gear in it.
I just wanted to be clear about that. Thank you. Now, you could have moved it to Coyote Autos at that
No.
point, right?
No, I moved it by myself.
Okay. Did you end up having to tow other vehicles off the property?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you agree you could have towed it to Coyote Auto?
No, I could not because I'm not allowed to Coyote to quit there.
Well, okay. So if it's Mr. Burdick's truck, wouldn't you agree if you dropped it off for him at Coyote Auto, it becomes his problem at that point, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so you could have moved it to Coyote Auto
if I had another person to help me out.
and put the burden on Mr. Burdick.
If I had another person to help me out, yes. Remember, I did this all pretty much by myself.
How did it end up? How did it end up on Monument Valley or on Granite Dells?
Me and Marissa's brother helped me to down there on a dolly.
Okay, so there was a second person to help you out.
Later on that during this time frame.
Okay, and so
Piece of
do you
shit.
have any reason to doubt that on November 14th of 2023, the truck was no longer parked in front of the library?
Okay. Yes.
Do you agree with
Yeah.
that? Okay, so approximately November 14th of 2023, is that when you moved it to Monument Valley?
Yes.
And you did that with another person?
Yes.
Could you on November 14th have moved it to Coyote Auto?
No.
Well, you had another person to help you, right?
Yes. So I'm not allowed at Coyote Auto.
I understand that you're not allowed there, but this is Mr. Burdick's truck, right?
But how can I take it to Coyote Auto when I'm not allowed there?
Feels like there's something more to that story.
Now, when Detective Dunstan first comes to talk to you at Monument Valley, initially he asks you who all the vehicles belong to, correct?
Yeah, and he was talking about the other vehicles on the over on the other where the other trailer was at.
And he was pretty specific. He listed some specific vehicles, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And now it was Jordan's at the other where the other RV was at.
Right. So you told him Jordan, and that was because of the list that he had given.
Yes.
And then do you recall Detective Dunstan clarifying with you, what about the Mazda truck?
Yeah, and I told him
You told him
it was
that's
mine. It was mine, but and later on I told him the owner actually is Birdie.
Okay, right. And then Detective Dunstan asked you if you had proof of ownership.
Yeah.
You recall that?
Yeah.
And you told him essentially not here,
Yeah.
implying you did have proof of ownership. It just
Because I had to keep, I have had it in my possession, and I also had keys to it.
okay. And so you felt at that point by having the truck and having the keys that it belonged.
Not really belonged to me. It was, in my possession.
Okay. Well, when Detective Eric Dunstan asks you if you have proof of ownership, what does that mean to you?
Ownership, like it's there with me.
Like, oh, so you didn't take that to mean that it belonged.
I didn't say that like I owned it. No.
Okay. At any point, did you ask Mr. Burdick for permission to move it to the library?
Dude, does this guy really strike you as some kind of sophisticated, fancy wordsmith? He's not a lawyer. He's a mechanic who fixes cars. He's literal. He's not, you're trying to trip him up on semantics. And well, actually, is this your car? Yeah. My car's on my property. I got keys for it. It's my car here. He's just trying to answer the question to the cops as quick as he can. Simple as he can.
Why didn't you have to ask permission when you gave me keys to it?
Okay, so you feel you didn't have to have permission to move his car?
No, because I gave me keys and moved around my property or wherever I needed to move. Because
You would agree that the library is not your property, right?
no, but I asked permission for the people at the library to store a car because I had a deadline.
Did you have Mr. Burdick's permission?
Or if you had to give me keys to it and told me I could do whatever I needed to do it at that time, yes.
Okay, so once you had the keys to it, you felt that you had Mr. Burdick's permission to move it to the library?
Yeah, it's because I didn't want it getting, for the new property owner to do something bad with it or, take, whatever that they're going to do with it. So my person, I was pretty much protecting it.
Okay, and while that might be nice, you understand you don't have a responsibility to do that.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did Mr. Burdick ever tell you you could move his truck off of your property?
No, not physically, no.
And did Mr. Burdick ever tell you that you had permission to move the truck from your property to off of Granite Dells Road?
No.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. If Mr. Burdick had said, hey, had contacted you or contacted your dad and said, hey, leave it right here, would you have left it there wherever they wanted him to?
Yes.
Okay. But just because he didn't say you could or couldn't do something, just because he affirmatively didn't say that, you didn't take that to mean that you still couldn't do it if you believed that that was in the best interest of that property to do that?
Yes.
Okay. In any event, you're not trying to keep this property from anybody or steal it or do any other thing nefarious with it, are you? Okay.
And so I had time to finish building it. Why would I don't need it.
Well, and would you agree with me, especially given all the other things you had to deal with, did it ever even enter your mind that this one more headache you needed would have been to take this vehicle without permission?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah. I can, but this is happening when I get,
And Mr. Alcorn asked you about all these possibilities of things that could have happened, right?
yes.
And it's also possible that, and we're all sitting here now thinking, well, geez, if Mr. Ostrom and his dad and Mr. Burdick had all been on the same page, we could have avoided all this, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen, did it? Does that make you an auto thief?
No.
Nothing further.
Does the jury have any questions for this witness? Counsel want to meet you, please? All right, Mr. Ostrom, according to the bank, what was the amount of time to close on the house?
When we signed paperwork,
I'm just asking the question, how it's written. I can't really expound on it.
well, after we signed paperwork, I only had like a month.
Okay. Did they give you a 21-day or 2-week notice to vacate?
No.
No? Did your father relate to you the conversations he had with Mr. Burdick about getting the vehicle moved?
Yes.
Is there any follow-up with respect to these questions?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last answer.
He said yes.
It's me and my dad are really close.
No other questions?
All right. May Mr. Ostrom step down?
Please.
Let me step down, sir. Thank you. Does the defense have any more witnesses?
No, Your Honor, defense rep.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. DeBrigida. Does the state have any rebuttal?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Go ahead, please.
State called Mr. Burdick. Recall Mr. Burdick.
Mr. Burdick, can you come back up here and we're going to swear you in again because it's a new day, okay?
Several thousand, I would think.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing?
David, if you're still here, how much do you think a trial like this costs on average? 'Cause you got the jury there. So I know in Maricopa, it's like 45 a day for each juror. Judge's salary, prosecutors, defense attorney.
But the truth, so help you God.
Have a seat, sir. Whenever you're ready.
8 or 10 jurors. 10, I think.
Good afternoon, Mr. Burdick. Good afternoon. I believe Mr. Beckwith asked you questions yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to speak with you about this. I have some follow-up questions for you, but before I get into those, you came in today, and Mr. Ostrom was already testifying, correct?
Correct.
Other than Mr. Ostrom's testimony, have you observed any of the other proceedings?
No, sir.
Okay, so you didn't hear any other testimony?
No, sir.
Yeah, this guy's such a victim. He's just invested in the outcome of this. He hasn't even shown up to it.
We've heard quite a bit of testimony
Good
about
point.
how the Mazda.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Scott. Like rust is literally not a thing here. I have no idea how cars rust, why they rust, why it's a thing. Yeah, our cars do not rust. Thank God.
truck ended up on Bonita Street. Who did you have the arrangement with to store your truck there, and how did that come about?
The arrangement was between Russell and I, and then I also talked to his father about it. But the truck ended up there. It was Russell and I both towed it over there to the property.
Does it not rain in Arizona? I mean, technically it was raining like 30 minutes ago, but it rains like 10, 15 times a year. And so, yeah, I mean, water would technically rust it, but then it dries out and it's not really an issue.
Was there any, sorry, trying to go too fast. Was there ever any agreement that you needed to pay?
We had talked about it, but we never actually had any agreement on payment.
You testified about a conversation you had with Steve Ostrom about how you could get your car back in November of 2022.
Correct.
Okay. Approximately how many times had you talked to Mr. Steve Ostrom about getting your truck back in November of 2022?
In November of 23, he came to the shop, and that was the one time that I talked to him, was when he said that the truck was at the bookstore, that it's out in the open, I can go pick it up.
Was that the only time you had that conversation?
Yes.
In November, on the 28th of November, were you notified by Payson Police Department that they had recovered your vehicle?
Yes.
What happened to it after that?
It got towed to the storage yard for Payson PD. Then I got a hold of the tow truck company. They ended up towing it down to Coyote Auto. We have a lot that we use that's next to the church. It's on the east side of the church. And so I had them put it over there just so that it was out of the way. And just had it put on the empty lot.
What's the status of it now?
Of the lot?
No, the truck.
Oh, I had moved it from there. It's over at 604 Main Street. My mom has she's starting a coffee shop over there. And so it's stored right now on my mom's property.
Okay. When you got the truck back, was there property that belonged to Mr. Ostrom in it?
I didn't know who it belonged to, but there was stuff in it. And that was when it was parked at the church. The next day when I came in, there was stuff that wasn't in the truck anymore. So an assumption that Mr. Ostrom came and got the stuff out of it.
But you don't know what happened?
No, I do not.
Are there still items that don't belong to you inside the truck?
There's a couple, they're like wheels and tires that are in the truck. But the ones that I had with the truck are not there. Just the tires, not the wheels. But there are wheels and tires that are still in the truck, yes.
Gotcha. And that stuff you don't know?
No. No.
No further questions, Judge.
Any cross?
1 second.
My colleague, Mr. DeBrigida, reminded me there's just a couple other questions.
Go ahead.
So with his permission, I just have a few more.
Sure.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
Okay. Bit of an unusual procedure here, Judge. There's exhibits that we don't quite have uploaded to case lines. So with your permission, I believe Mr. DeBrigida will stipulate. I'm going to show them to him on the laptop. There's going to be a stipulation to their admission, but just so that we're not wasting time, I'll get those uploaded during other proceedings. And I'll get those to go back.
Okay, is that okay with you?
I think we can further stipulate to the foundation for them as well.
Yeah.
So as consistent with what you just testified to, my client and his father just took photographs of the vehicle. So these photographs are as of within the last hour.
Okay, go ahead.
And I provided them to the state, and that's how we're going to present them.
All right.
May I approach?
Yes.
His father went out and took some pictures.
Disregard my email on the side. Shouldn't have done that. Now, I've got a privacy screen on here, right? It's a little tough to see you. In fact, I'm going to come around if that's okay with you.
Oh my.
You mind if I get right up in here?
Yes.
Oh
Disregarding my
my.
email on the side here. Is this the spot where the truck is parked?
Correct. That is on the property that my mom is currently in process of buying.
Okay. And so this is a picture of, so I'm going to reference these in order.
Okay.
I'm going to upload, Mr. DeBrigida, I'm going to upload all these photos as one exhibit.
That's fine.
Okay. So this is all going to be one exhibit. So the second photo in this exhibit, this is the back of the truck?
Correct.
And those are the tires and wheels you're talking about?
Correct. Those are the tires and wheels that do not belong to me.
Okay. And that picture, that's kind of the same thing?
Correct.
This is the interior?
Yes, that is the interior.
Okay. And then again,
Exterior.
a couple of shots of where it's at?
Yeah. And that's my wife's deceased father's truck that's next to it.
That's next to it?
Your
Okay.
wife's diseased
No
father.
further questions?
Okay, so are these going to be
I think.
exhibit 19?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they'll be available for the jury to view when they go into their deliberations?
That would be.
Okay,
That's fine.
all right. So once exhibit is uploaded, it will be admitted. Yeah,
Can you?
Don't worry about it. I can just refer to them. You have a moment?
sure.
Oh, come on. Way to go.
Mr. Alcorn, how many were there?
Just dropping the equipment.
Fine.
Hey, I paid for that,
7 in total.
Buster.
7? It's unlocked, Mr. Alcorn. Thank you.
Hello again, Mr. Barney.
Hello.
Thank you for coming back. Mr. Alcorn was asking you about the situation with picking up the truck and who you spoke with and what happened to it since. I'm going to take a bit of a step back. You recall the day that you first met with the detective to say, hey, I want to report my truck stolen.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that that was out of some level of frustration that you couldn't find it?
It was more of the fact that it was moved. I didn't know where it went. I wasn't frustrated that I couldn't find it. It was just gone.
Okay. And you didn't know where it went?
Right. I had no idea where it was, where it went.
Okay.
Anything.
Up to that point, you had only spoken with the senior Mr. Ostrom about trying to get it.
Correct. He came in to the shop and told me that it was at the bookstore library and said it was out in the open, that you can go pick it up if you want to.
Okay.
And then that's when I got off the phone with LaForge Towing.
Were you familiar with what was going on at the property and all of the stuff that had to be moved from there?
Mr. Ostrom Sr. had mentioned to me prior that he was getting evicted from the property. I didn't know logistics between it. I didn't know what time frame he had or anything. So.
Okay. But you knew, even if you hadn't been there in a while, that there was a lot of items on that property.
Right, because I drove past there almost daily because I live around the corner.
Okay, so you had been there or seen it recently.
Correct.
Okay. You and Russell and you and Stephen had never discussed, because it probably never came up, hey, don't move it here, don't move it there, or anything like that.
No.
Okay. So when Mr. Ostrom, Russell Ostrom, had to get all that stuff out of there and ended up bringing your car and a number of other cars to that campsite with him, you and he hadn't discussed that before it happened, right?
Him and I know.
Okay.
So Russell Ostrom's father, when it did get moved to the bookstore, it was at that location.
Okay.
And I called the tow truck company to go get it.
Okay.
And by the time they got there, it was gone.
Okay. So clearly a big miscommunication here, to say the least.
Yes and no. I mean, there was no attempt of communication from Russell to me
Okay.
to even get my truck back.
Okay. And that, in large part, that might have been because he was communicating with his dad, who he thought was communicating with you.
He could have been.
Okay. But as you sit here today, you don't have any ill feelings toward Russell, do you?
No, sir.
And you don't believe he was trying to steal your truck?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
Doesn't sound like there's much he could do with it.
he could do quite a bit with it. I mean, I had a whole custom rear differential, rear axle made.
Okay.
That Senior Ostrom and I custom made, and we cut the axles down and everything. I mean, I put a lot of money into the truck.
Oh, of course.
I mean, it may not look like it, but there was a decent amount of money in it.
I understand that, but especially given everything else that Mr. Russell Ostrom was dealing with at that time, probably not something that would have entered his mind to, hey, I'm going to steal David Burdick's truck.
I honestly don't know.
None of us do, sir. Thank you. Oh, I did want to ask you a few things. You had a chance to look at those photos.
Yes, sir.
And they are accurate as we sit here today, the
Yes,
current
sir.
condition of the truck.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it further understanding that some of my client's property is in the back of that truck as we speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nothing further.
Thank you. Can you redirect?
Yes, Judge, briefly, in a limited amount of time, I couldn't sandwich them into one exhibit, so those are exhibits 19 through 25.
19 through 25?
Yes.
I guess if there can be such a thing as a joint exhibit, we know.
Okay, those,
So 19 to 25.
yes. Okay, thank you.
If you, the victim, the person whose car was taken, do not know if he did it intentionally or not, there is no mens rea, there is no criminal intent to deprive you of your property beyond a reasonable doubt. You literally just gave doubt. And you're the victim here.
Do you have any redirect for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
David, defense counsel stated there wasn't much he could do with the truck. You remember that just now? Okay. When you got the truck back, was the hood scoop missing?
Yes.
Did you ever give Russell permission to remove the hood scoop?
No, I did not.
Were there other parts missing from the truck?
Yes.
Can you tell us what?
The third member was missing out of it. The hood scoop was taken off of it. There was one of the lights, the taillights was broken, mirror was broken, just superficial damage to the bedside, stuff like that.
No further questions, Your Honor.
May this witness step down?
I think the jury
Oh, jury, thank you very much, jury.
saw papers passing as well.
Keys to the defendant. Mr. Burdick, besides giving the truck keys to the defendant, did you ever give him verbal or written permission to move the truck around his property or elsewhere?
No, I did not.
When you realized your truck was not where you thought it would be, why did you not call Russ Ostrom or Steve Ostrom before reporting it stolen?
I did not have Russell's phone number, and Steve Ostrom was the one that told me where the truck was. So then at that point, I called the Forge Towing. They showed up to the property where it was supposed to be, and it just wasn't there.
Any follow-up?
Okay.
Yes, briefly. When you found out, so when LaForge told you, or whenever the truck driver told you it wasn't there, did you follow up with Steve?
No, at that point, I let it go overnight and then contacted the police department the next day and reported it stolen.
Fair to say you could have?
I could have, yes.
No other questions?
I don't understand something. When the towing company said they couldn't find the truck, you didn't call Steve back and say, hey, it's not where you said it was?
I think I did contact him.
Okay.
I mean, I can go back in my phone records and look. I mean, it'd be years of stuff, but I believe I talked to Steve after that, and he said, well, no, it's supposed to be at the bookstore.
Okay.
And then I got a hold of LaForge again after that, and I
Okay.
talked to them and said, hey, no, it's supposed to be here.
But after that, why didn't you call Steve back?
I didn't know where my truck was, and Steve didn't know either, obviously, because
But it's possible that he might have gotten some more information from one day to the next, right?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Well, it's pretty good speculation.
Hello, you can answer.
I mean, he could.
His response to the objection is, well, yeah, it's speculation, but it's pretty good speculation.
have known, but at the time I didn't.
But
And
this is your friend, though, right?
And yeah, an old friend, yes.
So you thought instead of, maybe trying to talk to Steve again, or maybe even Russell would call, you just call the police and report it stolen?
He had the vehicle moved off of his property, and I didn't know where it was. He could have gotten a hold of me and brought it to me.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he stole it, does it?
It wasn't where it was. It wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Okay, but that's different from somebody stealing something from you. We're talking about criminal activity here. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
We are talking about you basically reporting a crime, not what has clearly become now to known as a comedy of errors and a mistake.
I object to the former question, Judge. Mr.
Sustained.
Bridget is making an argument at this point.
Saying you can
Well-
raise your voice.
Comedy of errors. That was a very good question. Should have been objected to, but yeah, that was very good.
I'll rephrase. My point is, a couple of more phone calls and this could have all been resolved, correct?
Theoretically,
Okay.
speculating, yes.
Thank you.
Your witness, do you have any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Any new questions from the jury? Okay, may this witness step down?
Yes,
Yes.
Does the state have any additional rebuttal witnesses?
yes, I'd like to recall Officer Dunstan.
All right, Officer Dennison, you're still under oath. for
Good
this one.
Lord.
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't call this many rebuttal witnesses if your case is going well.
Detective Dunstan, you had a follow-up conversation with Steve Ostrom on November 16th.
Correct.
And so that would have been the day after Mr. Burdick reported the vehicle stolen.
Correct.
At that point, did Steve Ostrom have any idea where the car was?
No, he told me that he believed that his son was either in Heber or somewhere in the woods.
So a day later, Steve couldn't tell you where the truck was.
Correct.
So would you agree that if Mr. Burdick had contacted Steve, Steve couldn't tell Mr. Burdick where it was either?
Correct.
Now, you testified on cross-examination about whether the truck was hidden or not. Do you remember that?
Yes.
As far as the campsite is concerned, was the truck hidden?
At the campsite?
Correct.
No, there was no attempt to cover it.
Okay. In terms of geographical area, would you say the truck was hidden?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain why?
This campsite is approximately 3.5 miles in on what's mostly a dirt road. You have to go some ways out to get there.
When you say it's a dirt road, I've been on a few different dirt roads. Is it graded or?
Partially, but it gets pretty water washed. It's a pretty rough road, especially as you get further back.
No further questions.
Thank you.
Officer, you mentioned that you said that Mr. Burdick's vehicle was not covered or concealed in any way.
Correct.
And none of the other vehicles were either, right?
Correct.
And those vehicles were owned by other people, right?
To my recollection, some were owned by Mr. Ostrom, some were owned by Mr. Hull, and then Mr. Burdick's vehicle.
Okay. Do you know whether any of those other people knew that their vehicles were with Mr. Ostrom at that spot?
The vehicles that we ran were registered to people at that location,
Okay.
minus Mr. Burdick's.
Okay. But in terms of Mr. Ostrom having them, did those people know they were there?
Since all those people were in attendance at the camp, I would assume
Okay.
so, yes.
Any of the other vehicles that were at that location look to be secreted away in any way?
No.
Okay. And in terms of the conversation you had, the last conversation you had with Steve Ostrom, you didn't make any attempts after that the next day and the days after
To do what, sir?
to see if he had any additional information?
No.
So if Steve and his son had talked even the next day, you wouldn't have known about that because you didn't try to follow up with him.
No.
Nothing further.
Direct.
I think you've answered this pretty clearly, but I just really want to make sure. So the vehicles you found at the campsite, they belong to Mr. Hall, Mr. Ostrom, and Mr. Burdick.
Yes, and then I believe there was an additional truck that belonged to a Miss Vicky Chick, who was also present.
And of all of those cars, except for the truck belonging to Mr. Burdick, all of those people were at the campsite.
Correct.
So they knew where all their vehicles were.
Correct.
Were any of those reported stolen?
No.
Just the one.
Correct.
In terms of Mr. Burdick's truck in relation to the other vehicles at the campsite, can you describe where it was?
Mr. Burdick's truck was located next to Mr. Hull's trailer and Mr. Hull's vehicles. The other trucks were next to Mr. Ostrom and Miss Chick's camp.
No other question.
Is witness step down?
Yes, please.
State have any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did the jury have any questions for Officer Dunstan? No. All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short to be giving you some final jury instructions. Transportation.
So we'll skip.
You cannot
that.
agree. Time of unlawful use
Oh.
of means of
I
transportation.
hope Hell is here because we get treated to the wonderful and professional PowerPoint again by the state. I think it's even better this trial. Look at that font.
All right, is this on? Good afternoon, members of the jury. As Her Honor just said, now is the time for closing arguments. It's a time for us to summarize the case with you and review the evidence that's been presented and the testimony you've heard. So let's begin with why we're here. We're here because the defendant, Russell Allen Ostrom, was spotted in possession of a vehicle that was reported stolen. This occurred between November 14th, November 28th, 2023, right around East Granite Dells Road, mile marker 3.5, in an area known as Monument Loop Trail.
God, this is just infuriating to me. My God. This, like, could you use a thinner font, sir? My God. Scott, the kerning is just abysmal. Why are you putting 13-1A14 section A1 and then theft of means of transportation converted for unauthorized use 13-1A14A2 and then it happened on 8:14 a.m. Like, dude, keep it simple, stupid.
So in any criminal case,
Oh
the state
my
has a
God.
burden to meet in every criminal trial, and we take that responsibility seriously. As the court stated, beyond a reasonable doubt. It doesn't mean all doubt or an unreasonable doubt. It means if you're
Yes.
firmly convinced the defendant is guilty, you must find him, or guilty of the crime charge, you must find him guilty. We have two separate counts, two different counts of theft. One intended to permanently deprive. So this is the typical, you see a car, you take it, it's not yours. Or there's converted for an unauthorized term. This is where you had authorization to possess and use a car, but you converted it into an unauthorized possession, meaning David said he could store his truck on the property of the defendant. He never made arrangements that he could take it out, move it somewhere else he didn't know. That's converting it into an unauthorized term. So let's look at the evidence. We know the registered owner is Mr. Burdick, as Detective Dunstan confirmed when he looked up the vehicle identification number. The defendant says it belongs to Jordan. He changes his story. It's not Jordan's, it's mine. It's been abandoned. How would I get an abandoned title if it belongs to my friend? Okay, so the story changes. We're not quite sure why. So it's been 2 weeks. He makes no attempt to contact Mr. Burdick, although he tells Officer Dunstan he knows Mr. Burdick works at Coyote Auto. He says he couldn't tow it to Coyote Auto. We're not exactly sure why, but he can't go to Coyote Auto. He doesn't go up there.
Sir, he was busy closing on his property. He was trying to get everything off his former property, quite a lot, 33 cars, in 2 weeks. There is no, you can't say it was to deprive him permanently.
I mean, the truck is in the woods. So there isn't really an attempt by the defendant to tell the victim, Mr. Burdick, hey, I have your truck, come and get it. He says he didn't mean to permanently deprive the victim of his truck. He's just taking the hood scoop off, removing parts and pieces of the truck. Is it because he temporarily wants to hold on to it and give it all back? Not sure. The defendant admits he knows where Mr. Burdick is. He does not know where Mr. Burdick lives or where to find him. The defendant doesn't have a phone, so no one can contact him. And he's in the middle of the woods off a dirt road, not exactly easy to find. So the defense will say that the victim should have done more. It's his fault. But we don't see the defendant making an effort to go find Mr. Burdick.
Guilty.
Saying, hey, I have your truck, come and get it. By the way, I took some parts off of it. We submit that the defendant did intend to permanently deprive the truck from the victim. And members of the jury, the state asks that you find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you.
Well, maybe if you had a couple exclamation marks in there, but just saying guilty, it doesn't really seem like you're sincere. I need at least 3 exclamation marks.
As Your Honor explained in the preliminary instructions,
Guilty.
because the state has the burden of proof, they get to open, if you will, the closing arguments and then close them. So what I'm getting at is this is the last time I'm going to have a chance to speak with all of you. A lot of times in criminal trials, there are things that come about that not necessarily form a theme, but they're kind of spots that we can go back and look at after, in the beginning of the trial and at the end of the trial. One of the things that struck me was, and I talked about this in my address to you earlier, we had a potential juror, the lady who had been, it was a retired law enforcement officer. And what keeps sticking out in my mind is she talked about how you shouldn't arrest people without at least probable cause. And that's been sticking with me for a long time. Because I think it's real poignant in this case. Think about, and granted, you've heard of Monday morning quarterbacks, I'm sure. Lawyers are the worst Monday morning quarterbacks you will ever meet, and that's kind of our job. But we're going to sit here today and we're going to Monday morning quarterback all the things that took place in this case. And I hope you will come away with the same summary I've reached in this case, and the same conclusion I've reached is this should never have been a criminal case from the beginning. At best, this is a civil dispute over property. That's it. We don't use the criminal justice system to try to locate our truck after 24 hours of trying to find it by calling the police on our friends. It just shouldn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I do not mean in the least to disparage this officer at all. I don't.
I will.
And I probably should have led with that. I think he did, with the information he had at the time, did the best he could. And I give him credit. Sorry. I give him credit for trying to help Mr. Burdick as quickly as he could. But when I asked him on the stand, well, would this information have helped you? And this other information about the background and how well these people knew each other and the history. 6 years this car was at this location, ladies and gentlemen. 6 years. And it all came to a head within this sort of 2-week span. And the state wants to blame my client, not just blame him, wants to label him a criminal because he didn't do enough to get this broken down truck to a more convenient situation for Mr. Burdick. And nobody here wanted to deprive Mr. Burdick of his property. That's just not what happened here. The state's going to argue to you, well, that even if Mr. Ostrom had authority, had possession legally, had the permission to store this, well, actually, Mr. Burdick had the permission to store this on the Ostrom property. The state wants you, and remember, it's their burden to prove my client guilty. The state wants you to hold it against my client that he didn't do enough. He could have done more to reach out to Mr. Burdick and say, here, let's coordinate this better. Here's where your truck is, come and get it. He thought his dad was handling that. Did he make a mistake? Maybe. Did Mr. Ostrom Sr. make a mistake about communicating with his son better about where he was taking it? Maybe. But we don't label people criminals for that. One of the other concepts that struck me is, and Mr. Alcorn talked to you about a French phrase, voir dire, which means to speak the truth, and it's part of jury selection. Another phrase comes to mind is Latin. It's called mens rea. It means a guilty mind. And one of the things that all of us learned in law school, Mr. Alcorn, me older than both of them, Mr. Alcorn and Mr. Beckwith after him, we learned about a mens rea, having a guilty mind, meaning you know you're doing something wrong, but you're going to do it anyway, or you've done something that you know is a crime. You have to have some sort of mens rea. And the judge talked to you about intentional, knowing, all those states of mind that come about. And that's kind of derived from what's called a mens rea. It occurred to me, we don't have that here. And I say this to Mr. Ostrom and to all of you in the kindest way possible. He's a lousy car thief. He's horrible at it, quite frankly. And it brings me back to a story. I was a prosecutor just like these gentlemen, and earlier on in my career, how many of you remember when you had to go to a video store to rent a VHS tape? So I was prosecuting a young man who had gone into a bunch of different West Coast video stores. And he thought he was real smooth. He would case the place. And in a couple of the stores, he actually filled out a job application with his correct information on it. And then when he thought it was, the crowd had died down and it was a good time, he would rob the place. And I remember meeting with him and his lawyer, we were trying to work out the case. And I said to him and his lawyer, I said, look, putting aside that what you did was illegal, you're really bad at this. I mean, you stink at this. Like, you need to find something other to do. And if we're going to label Mr. Ostrom a car thief, I think we can all agree he's a pretty bad one. Everybody agrees this car is not concealed in any way. I know the prosecution is going to make a whole big thing of it that, well, it's back in the woods. Well, it's back in the woods with a bunch of other people and a bunch of other cars. Oh, well, Mr. Burdick's car is the only one whose the owner didn't know it was there. Well, yeah, we know why he didn't know it was there. Because they couldn't communicate with him through whosever fault it was. Maybe it was mostly my client's fault that he didn't communicate well enough. Maybe it was Mr. Burdick's fault too. And I do agree with Mr. Beckwith's right. I do hold the position that Mr. Burdick could have done a little better job of communicating as well. These are people that have known each other a long time. They were friends. They worked on this car together. Do any of you really believe that it was my client's intention, criminal intention, to deprive this man of his car? If you all would, please take a look at page 6 of your jury instructions at the very top. In each of the offenses that's charged, there's this one element that's very important. Control or exercise control means to act so as to exclude others from using their property except on the defendant's own terms. My client never set out any terms under which Mr. Burdick could or couldn't have his property back or do what he wanted with it. And that's not only true for the 6 years that it was on the property, but it was true in those 2 weeks that all that stuff had to be removed from the property. That is an element that they cannot establish. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. My client never did that. The state's theory is, well, your client stole this truck and he had intended to permanently deprive Mr. Burdick of the truck. There is absolutely no evidence of that. I didn't hear one iota of testimony that said it was my client's actions, conduct, thoughts, or words that Mr. Burdick, it was his intent that Mr. Burdick was never going to see this truck again. It doesn't exist, so dismiss it right away. As to the other charge, and even the lesser included offense, we come back to that definition of exercising control to the exclusion of others. That didn't happen either. My client didn't do as great a job as he maybe should have of communicating with Mr. Burdick about how to pick up his truck. But you also heard my client's father testify that there was 3 days that Mr. Burdick should have come and pick up his truck, and he didn't. And I get it, things happen. And it's not about assigning blame or fault, it's just things happen. This was a complete comedy of errors that resulted in Mr. Burdick, I guess, getting frustrated and saying, I want to report my truck stolen. Mr. Burdick seems like a decent guy. I just don't think that was a really good thing to do. And had this officer been told more about the true backstory of all this, who knows where we'd be? Probably none of us would be here today. Mr. Burdick was going to get his truck back at some point, and he did get his truck back, albeit with my client's property still in it. The state's making the state wants you to believe that because items were removed from the truck, that demonstrates that my client had an intent to deprive. No, you heard, first off, we don't know when any of that happened in the 6 years it was there. There's absolutely no testimony or proof that it happened in this critical 2-week time frame. And we also heard my client's dad testify about the stuff that's still at his house. Okay? Talk about horrible communication. I get grief at home about communication, don't get me wrong, and I'm probably not the greatest at it either. But ladies and gentlemen, do any of us doubt that a few more phone calls, another day, another 2 days, another week, and none of this would have come about? But the more important part here, and why you should find my client not guilty of all these charges, is because he's not guilty of any kind of crime. He doesn't have a criminal intent. He doesn't even have a reckless intent here. The state accepted the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt when it decided to charge this case and now bring it to trial. I would submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that they haven't even come close. If we're questioning whether there should have been charges in the first place, well, guess what? Then it's pretty absolute that they haven't reached beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest standard we have in our system of criminal jurisprudence. For all these reasons, I'm asking you to go back, deliberate, look at everything very carefully, compare each other's notes about the testimony, and you will come away with the same inescapable conclusion that I have. That my client, while he didn't handle this the best way he could, and a couple people else involved in this case didn't handle it the best way he could either, doesn't mean that he should be getting a criminal conviction of any kind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeBrigida. State have a final argument.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, please.
Defense counsel just stated that a few more phone calls, this would have all been solved. The defendant didn't have a phone. He's in the woods for 2 whole weeks. He made no effort to contact Mr. Burdick, even though he knows where he works on Main Street. Defense counsel states that there's no evidence to show intent. You can infer intent from the evidence presented. He brought into the woods for 2 weeks. He takes parts off the vehicle. Why is he doing that? Because temporarily he's going to put them back on? We don't know why.
If you don't know why, then it's not
Mr. Burdick's
guilty.
fault for not knowing that his truck was out in the woods where he never gave anyone permission to take it. He only authorized it to be on Bonita Street.
If you don't know why he did something, that's not beyond a reasonable doubt. Why were the parts taken off the truck? You don't know? Okay. Wow. Great second defense closing, buddy.
And he says that his client is a terrible car thief. Yes, that's why he's here today, because of that. We told you at the beginning of trial is that his client took what did not belong to him. We submit the evidence shows he intended to permanently deprive him of his property. And we ask you to find him guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we give the last 2 instructions, does either side have any additions or corrections to the jury instructions that were previously given? Okay.
Nothing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. When you go into the jury room, you will choose a foreperson. The case is now submitted to you for decision. When you go to the jury room, you will choose a foreperson. He or she will preside over your deliberations. I suggest that you discuss and then set your deliberation schedule. You are in charge of your schedule and may set it and may vary it by agreement and approval of the court. After you have decided on a schedule, please advise the bailiff. You are to discuss the case and deliberate only when all jurors are together in the jury room. You are not to discuss the case with each other or anyone else during breaks or recesses. The admonition I have given you during the trial remains in effect when all of you are not in the jury room deliberating. After setting your schedule, I suggest that you next review the written jury instructions and verdict forms.
All right, let's
It may be helpful for you to, November 15th of 2023, upon our oaths, do you find the defendant.
oops.
After setting your schedule, I suggest that discussions you must keep service. South is not to tell the defendant not guilty as to theft of booty of November 15th. He also
Sorry, guys. I'm just skipping forward to the.
Please have a seat, folks. All right. Does everyone have their phone number for the clerk? Do you have their phone numbers?
Mark usually comes and collects ours, so why don't we go ahead and, I don't think we've, either of us given our number to the court.
I've never, so.
Okay. And then Mr. DeBridget, are you hanging around here today?
Do we give it to Michelle?
Yes, please.
She can get to Kalen
And you're hanging,
Collins.
okay. Fair enough.
Monday files to be in. Hey, you can talk to Joe about your cases.
Oh,
Oh,
I remember we had there was a day where
You're too boss, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
there was training. So I still trekked up here and I met with whatever prosecutors I had cases with.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being
All
up
right.
here.
Anything else we need to put on the record before we recess?
Any off-record conversations back there? No, not in this. No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we got it all,
I
Judge.
think so. I think we've put everything on the
just
record.
a creepy, friendly banter between the state and the defense attorney.
All right, we're back on the record in CR 2023-00525, State of Arizona versus Russell Allen Ostrom. The state is present as well as the defendant and Mr. DeBrigida. The jury has advised that they have reached a verdict. Anything that needs to be put on the record before we bring the jury in?
No,
All right, please bring the jury in.
Look at Pa back there. I mean, defendant could tuck his shirt in, you know. Ah, yeah, I need a poll. You're right, guys. I'll do a poll real quick. Sorry about that. Okay, start a poll. Okay. So vote now. Bailiff's probably off to the side.
Please be seated. Record may reflect the presence of the jury. Has the jury reached a verdict? Yes. Will you please hand the verdict forms to the bailiff? The clerk will read and record the verdict.
Arizona Superior Court, Gila County, State of Arizona, plaintiff versus Russell Allen Ostrom, defendant. Case number CR 2023-00525. Verdict count. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action with regard to effective means of transportation committed on or between November 15, 2023 and November 28, 2023, upon our oath to final defendant Russell Allen Ostrom not guilty. If you find the defendant not guilty as to effective means of transportation, or the eight of you are unable to reach a unanimous verdict, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty as to the charge of unlawful use of means of transportation committed on or between November 15, 2023 and November 28, 2023, not guilty.
Not guilty.
Arizona Superior Court, Gila County, State of Arizona, plaintiff versus Russell Allen Ostrom, defendant. Case number CR 2023-00525. Verdict count 2. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action with regard to theft of means of transportation committed on or about November 15, 2023, upon our oaths, do find the defendant Russell Allen Ostrom not guilty.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does any of council wish to poll the jury?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Of the
So members
state.
of the jury, on behalf of the participants, we thank you for participating. And this is a very important service to the community, and our justice system wouldn't work if it wasn't for people like you. So thank you from all of us. The admonition is now lifted. You are free to talk about the case with anyone or not talk about it as you wish. If someone asks you about the case and you don't want to talk about it, advise them of that fact and they will respect it. Please leave your juror badges and your notebooks with the bailiff. The bailiff will destroy your notes, but the badges and the books will be used in other cases. Once again, thank you. Your jury service is now completed. You are excused. Mr. Trimble, do we have surveys for the jurors to fill out? Oh, wow. All right. So folks, sometimes if you like, you can hang out in the jury room for a moment, and counsel in the court likes to come back and talk to you, but I can certainly understand it's been a long couple of days. And so if you want to leave, you're free to do that. But if you want to hang out for a few minutes, we're happy to talk to everyone. So thank you so much, but you are excused. Please have a seat. The court will enter a judgment of acquittal as to both counts. Is there any bond posted in this case?
Yes, sir.
Any bond posted is exonerated. I believe that's all we have. Anything else today?
No, Your Honor.
No.
I just want to thank both sides. You put on a very good case. Thank you to our witness.
Hey,
Again, just today. Good job. Thank you.
I would say this case doesn't work. It's one of the most bullshit things I've seen. This is just pedantic nonsense.
Judge.
Okay, whatever. Arizona internet sucks. Well, internet's pretty good, but not in this place. So I'm going to end now. And you'll know the belt buckle like dad's rocking is totally slinging. Yes, for sure. I'm going to send you guys over to Hella. She starts at 6:15 Eastern. So this has been a lot of fun. I'll be back tomorrow morning for courtroom roulette. Or did my internet mess up? Probably was Cloudflare, to be fair. And then we'll do another trial next week. Tuesday, probably Monday, Tuesday. We'll see. Oh, I was a robot for a couple minutes. Oof. Damn it. Okay, it's fine now. All right. Well, that's something. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. Got another not guilty. Oh, wait, I just remember. I think it was the 20th. We have a hearing on the hearing on the Goebbels tard jousting case. Those two idiots in Warren County that got into a fight over the property. And they got, I think the sanctions hearing is on the 20th for some stuff that happened pre-trial. Goebbels filed a slew of motions. So did the defendant. So we'll go and look at some of that. What happened? Yeah, not guilty. He was acquitted fully. Chuck and Diane, thank you. Yeah, the low T Diane. Well, his name is Chuck Goebbels, not Joseph. Chuck. Hopkins is pro se for now, but just it sounded like it was just to like file the last motion. I don't know if he still is pro se or not. Oh, I hope he is. That'll be amazing. Oh. He's gonna kick some ass in a one-legged contest. So, all right, guys, I shall see you over at Hella's stream. It's been fun, guys. Have a great night. Have a great night.